Thursday, November 12, 1952, Sing Sing Correctional Facility, Ossining, New York. Bumpy Johnson had been locked up for 8 months. The charge? Narcotics conspiracy. But anyone who knew the streets knew the case was about politics, not justice. The Manhattan District Attorney needed a headline, something to prove he was cracking down on Harlem. And Bumpy, being one of the most recognized names uptown, made the perfect headline. The so-called evidence didn't hold much weight. The witnesses had been pressured. The trial was full of holes. But the verdict was already written before Bumpy walked into the courtroom. He was sentenced to 15 years in one of the toughest prisons in the country. At 48, Bumpy had seen prison walls before. He'd done time in Alcatraz back in the 30s. But this was different. Sing Sing in 1952 was colder, rougher, more unpredictable. Guards didn't hide their prejudice. Gangs fought openly. And the people in charge only cared if things spilled onto paperwork. Bumpy wasn't there to make waves. He kept to himself, followed the schedule, didn't start anything. He was focused on appealing his case. Starting trouble would only make things worse. But on the afternoon of November 12th, something changed. At around 2:17 p.m., 7 correctional officers, all white, all with a history of mistreating black inmates, surrounded Bumpy in the prison workshop. What happened next wasn't about prison rules. It was personal. They attacked him with nightsticks, beat him until he was unconscious. He suffered a fractured skull, broken ribs, and was left in a coma for nearly a day. But what those 7 guards didn't realize was that Bumpy's influence didn't stop at the prison gates. His crew on the outside didn't disappear just because he was behind bars. They were still active, still watching, still loyal. Within 6 hours, while Bumpy lay in the infirmary, every single one of those guards had been tracked down. By midnight, they were all gone, taken from different corners of the city quietly, efficiently. No struggle, no noise. When Bumpy opened his eyes the next morning, Friday at 8:23 a.m., the prison was buzzing. The 7 men who had attacked him had vanished. No one ever found them. Their families never got answers. But the message? It was loud and clear. You might heard Bumpy Johnson, but you won't walk away from it. To understand how that happened so quickly, you have to understand how Bumpy operated. Most crews fall apart when the boss goes away. Internal power struggles, broken chains of command, confusion. But Bumpy had prepared for this kind of thing for years. His structure wasn't built on one man. It was built to last. He had lieutenants who knew how to run operations without constant direction. He had systems in place for communication calls through guards on payroll, notes passed through lawyers, face-to-face meetings during visitation. Everything was designed to keep the machine running, no matter where Bumpy was, and most importantly, he had protection protocols if anything happened to him, any threat, inside or out. It triggered an immediate response. Marcus Webb, Bumpy's top man on the street, had eyes inside Sing Sing, guards who owed favors, inmates with loyalty, even kitchen staff who kept their ears open. Every day, Marcus got updates. And that level of surveillance didn't come cheap, around $2,000 a week in bribes and payoffs. But on that Thursday, it proved to be the difference between life and death. Those 7 guards thought they could get away with it. They were wrong. Thursday, November 12, 1952, 2:30 p.m., Sing Sing Prison Workshop. Bumpy Johnson was assigned to carpentry duty. Mandatory labor. Another day behind bars. But it wouldn't end like the others. All inmates are required to work. Bumpy's assignment is sanding wooden planks that will later be turned into furniture and sold by the prison for profit. It's repetitive and dull, but still better than crushing stone in the quarry or running laundry machines in suffocating heat. Bumpy keeps to himself. He doesn't argue, doesn't draw attention, does his job, and stays quiet. In prison, survival often means becoming invisible. The less you stand out, the longer you last. At 2:15 p.m., the workshop supervisor, Corrections Officer Thomas Brennan, walks up behind Bumpy Johnson. "The warden wants to see you," Brennan says. "Come with me." That alone feels wrong. Inmates aren't usually summoned to the warden's office during work hours unless something serious has happened. Bumpy stands and follows Brennan. They move through the workshop toward the exit. But instead of heading toward the administrative offices, Brennan turns down a narrow side corridor leading toward a storage area. Away from other inmates. Away from witnesses. Something clicks in Bumpy's mind. This isn't right. This is a setup. Bumpy stops walking. "Where are we going?" he asks. "The warden's office is the other way." Brennan turns around and smiles. It's not friendly. It's sharp. "The warden doesn't actually want to see you, Johnson," he says. "But we do." He signals with his hand. 6 more guards step out from nearby doorways. Patrick Sullivan, Michael O'Brien, James McCarthy, Robert Mitchell, Daniel O'Connor, William Donnelly. All white. All holding nightsticks. All smiling. 7 guards. 1 inmate. No witnesses. Bumpy presses his back against the wall and quickly runs the numbers. He's 48 years old. Still strong, but not young. 7 armed officers against 1 unarmed man. Fighting won't work. Running isn't possible. There's nowhere to go. No one to call. No one would come anyway. Sullivan steps forward. "You think you're somebody, Johnson?" He says, "You think you matter? You're nothing. Just another number in a cage. And today, you're going to learn what happens when people forget their place." He raises his nightstick. The others follow. Bumpy doesn't beg. He doesn't argue. He doesn't show fear. He just stands there, calm and steady. If this is happening, he won't give them the satisfaction of seeing him break. At 2:17 p.m., they rush him together. The first strike hits his shoulder. The second lands hard against his ribs. Another snaps against his arm as he tries to shield himself. A blow to the head sends him down. More strikes follow back, legs, side relentless and fast. This isn't discipline. It's punishment. Bumpy curls inward, trying to protect his head, but it doesn't stop them. One final strike lands and everything goes dark. Bumpy Johnson collapses, motionless. The guards stop and look down at him. Brennan nudges him with his boot. No response. Unconscious. Maybe worse. Either way, they're satisfied. They laugh and walk away, leaving him alone in the storage corridor where no one ever goes. At 2:45 p.m., another inmate finds him. Gerald Red Patterson freezes when he sees Bumpy on the floor. His face is swollen, bloodied, barely recognizable. Red knows reporting this could bring trouble. But he also remembers something else. Years earlier, Bumpy had saved his life. And debts like that don't disappear. Red runs to find Officer Vincent Duca, a guard he knows is loyal to Bumpy. "They hurt him bad," Red says. "He's not waking up." Duca acts fast. Medical is called. Bumpy is rushed to the infirmary. The prison doctor examines him. Head trauma. Broken ribs. Severe injuries. He's unconscious and may not wake up. If he does, the damage could be permanent. The doctor recommends immediate transfer to a hospital, but the warden, Walter Henderson, refuses. "He stays here," Henderson says. "No special treatment." And just like that, the door closes. The doctor argues, but he's overruled. Bumpy stays in the prison infirmary, unconscious. Critical condition. Getting just enough care to keep him alive and not a bit more. The truth is, The warden doesn't want him to recover. At 3 p.m., Officer Vincent Duca heads to the prison payphone. He dials a number 1 he was told to call only if something serious ever happened. On the other end, Marcus Webb picks up. "Yeah, it's Duca. Sing Sing. We've got a situation. Bumpy was attacked. 7 guards. Nightsticks. He's in bad shape. Skull fracture. Ribs broken. He's out cold. Doctor says he might not make it. They're refusing to send him to a hospital." There's a pause. When Marcus speaks, his voice is calm but cold. "Who did it?" "Brennan, Sullivan, O'Brien, McCarthy, Mitchell, O'Connor, Donnelly. All involved. They jumped him in the workshop. Beat him. Left him for dead. Is he going to make it?" The doctor's not sure. "If he wakes up, there might be brain damage. And if he doesn't come around in the next 24 hours, odds aren't good." "Understood. You did the right thing. Keep eyes on him. Let me know the second anything changes. And Duca, make sure those guards don't get near him again. If they try to finish the job, you stop them. However you have to. Understood." Marcus hangs up. He glances at his watch. 3:05 p.m. Bumpy's been unconscious for 48 minutes. There's no time to waste. By 3:15 p.m., Marcus is in his Harlem office. Around him sit 6 men, Bumpy's core crew: Paul Williams, Jerome Patterson, Vincent Drake, Anthony Russo, Michael Chun, David Martinez. All loyal. All ready. Marcus speaks directly. Bumpy was attacked at Sing Sing by 7 guards. He's in critical shape. Could die. Whether he makes it or not, those guards are disappearing tonight. If Bumpy wakes up and finds out we didn't act, we failed him. If he dies and they walk away, we failed him. Either way, they're gone. No one speaks. They all understand. Marcus continues. We've got 7 targets. I want full profiles on each of them, where they live, who they're with, routines, cars, everything. Jerome, that's you. I need the info by 5 p.m. Jerome nods. Consider it done. Paul, Vincent, Anthony, Michael, David, you're the extraction teams. Once we've got the addresses, you each take a target. If needed, double up. I'll coordinate the timing. He pauses. All 7 need to vanish in the same window. No delays, no leaks. This has to be tight, clean, and quiet. They're there 1 minute, gone the next. No noise, no attention. No bodies. They all nod again. We've got about 6 hours before Bumpy might wake up. I want those guards gone before then. If he opens his eyes at midnight, I want to say it's handled. If he wakes up tomorrow, same thing. This ends tonight. Go. At exactly 5 p.m., Jerome returns. 7 folders. Complete. Thomas Brennan, 43, lives at 247 Maple Street, Yonkers. Married, 3 kids. Drives a 49 Ford. Off shift at 11 p.m., home by 11:45. Patrick Sullivan, 39, 891 Oak Avenue, White Plains. Single, lives alone. Drives a 1950 Chevy. Gets off at 11 p.m., usually stops at Kelly's Tavern, home by 1 o'clock. Michael O'Brien, 37, 432 Elm Street, Ossining. Married, 2 kids. Drives a 48 Plymouth. Off shift at 11 p.m., home by 11:30. James McCarthy, 41, 1653 Birch Lane, Tarrytown. Married, 1 child. Drives a 51 Ford. Leaves work at 11 p.m., often grabs a bite at the diner, home by midnight. Robert Mitchell, 45, 789 Pine Street, Peekskill. Divorced, lives alone. Drives a 49 Dodge. Occasionally stops by his girlfriend's place. The names are known. The clock is ticking. And by sunrise, they won't be around to answer for anything. Daniel O'Connor, 38, lives at 2341 Cedar Road in Mount Vernon. Married, 4 kids. Drives a 1950 Buick. Gets off work at 11 p.m. and always heads straight home. William Donnelly, 40, lives at 567 Willow Drive, New Rochelle. Single, lives with his mother. Drives a 1948 Chevrolet. Gets off at 11 p.m., usually home by midnight. Marcus reviews the files carefully. All 7 guards finish their shifts at 11 p.m., that's the window. Between 11 o'clock and 1 a.m. while they're on the road, alone, distracted, that's when they're vulnerable. That's when they vanish. 11 p.m., Thursday night. The guards finish their shifts. They clock out, walk to their cars. Not one of them is nervous. Not one of them looks over their shoulder. They beat a prisoner earlier in the day. So what? That happens all the time. Prisoners can't fight back. Not in their world. They think they're safe, protected by the badge, by the system, by silence. They're wrong. 11:17 p.m., Thomas Brennan. He's driving north on Route 9, headed toward Yonkers. His mind's on weekend plans, maybe his wife's birthday next week. He doesn't notice the black Cadillac following him. Doesn't glance over when it pulls up beside him at the red light. Doesn't even react until Paul Williams leans out the window with a pistol pointed at his face. Pull over now. Or I shoot, and your family identifies you by your teeth. Brennan swerves to the shoulder, hands shaking. I've got money, he stammers. Whatever you want, get out. Hands where I can see them. Brennan steps out. Paul's partner, Vincent Drake, zip ties his wrists and tosses him into the trunk. They don't drive to Yonkers. They head to a warehouse in Red Hook, one of several buildings owned by Bumpy's crew. Quiet, empty, off the books. 11:23 p.m., Patrick Sullivan. He's at Kelly's Tavern, drink in hand, laughing about the assault. Thought he was tough, he tells the bartender. Went down like the rest of them. They all bleed the same. He doesn't notice Anthony Russo and Michael Chun walk in. Doesn't notice them hovering by the door. When Sullivan finishes his drink and steps outside, they're waiting. Patrick Sullivan? Yeah, whose? Anthony hits him with a military-grade tranquilizer dart. 4 seconds later, Sullivan hits the pavement. They load him into a van and head to a second warehouse across town. 11:35 p.m., Michael O'Brien, driving toward Ossining, half asleep. His engine starts acting up. Groaning, he pulls to the side and pops the hood. Doesn't see anything wrong. A tow truck pulls up. Need a hand? The driver asks. It's David Martinez. Yeah, engine's acting weird. David walks over. Glances under the hood. I see the issue. One hit with a tire iron. O'Brien drops. David loads him into the truck and drives off at 11:52 p.m. The last 4. McCarthy, Mitchell, O'Connor, Donnelly taken quietly and fast. McCarthy grabbed in the diner parking lot. Mitchell just leaving his girlfriend's place. O'Connor steps from his front door. Donnelly walking from his car to his mother's house. No noise. No mess. No witnesses. 12:30 a.m. 90 minutes after shift change, all 7 men are gone. Unconscious or tied down, held in separate warehouses across Brooklyn, 1 a.m. Friday, November 13th. Marcus Webb stands inside the main warehouse. All 7 guards are here. Some groggy, some panicked, all restrained. They look around, confused. It's cold. It's dark. And it's real. Marcus steps forward. My name is Marcus Webb. I work for Bumpy Johnson, the man you beat unconscious 8 hours ago. He's in a coma. He may never wake up. He might wake up fine. I don't know. What I do know is this: whether he lives or dies, none of you are going home. He looks them over. Your families won't find you. No one will. You'll just be missing. No answers. No closure. That's the cost of laying hands on Bumpy Johnson. Brennan opens his mouth. Please. Marcus doesn't respond. He doesn't need to. We were just doing our jobs. He's a criminal. We didn't mean, bang. Marcus pulls the trigger. One clean shot to the head. Thomas Brennan never finishes the sentence. He slumps in the chair, silent. Gone out the 6 remaining guards panic, screaming, pleading, crying. It doesn't matter. Marcus moves methodically, calmly, one by one. 6 more shots. No speeches. No hesitation. By 1:10 a.m. all 7 guards are dead. Marcus turns to his cleanup crew. Bodies go in the Hudson. Weighted. Deep water. I want them gone. No traces. And make sure their cars get dropped off in different places, airports, stations. Make it look like they ran. The crew gets to work. By 4 a.m., all 7 bodies are at the bottom of the Hudson River, weighted with chains and blocks. Sinking deep. They'll never be found. Their cars start turning up over the next week, abandoned outside train depots, bus terminals, and airports. To the outside world, it looks like they fled. Left everything behind. 8:23 a.m. Friday, November 13th. Sing Sing Prison Infirmary. Bumpy Johnson's eyes slowly open. His head is pounding. Breathing hurts. His ribs scream with every inhale. He can't move without pain, but he's alive. The prison doctor stares, stunned. Double quotes Mr. Johnson. You're awake. That's remarkable. You've been unconscious for 18 hours. We weren't sure you'd come back. Bumpy's voice is barely a whisper. What happened? You were attacked. Badly. Skull fracture. Broken ribs. You were in a coma. But now you're awake. That's a good sign. Can you tell me your name? Bumpy Johnson. Do you know where you are? Sing Sing. The doctor nods. Good. No signs of brain damage. You're lucky. Bumpy doesn't feel lucky. He feels pain and memory. Officer Duca steps into the room. No words, just a nod. Bumpy understands. Duca made the call. Marcus handled the rest. How long was I out? 18 hours. You came to at 8:23 a.m. Bumpy does the math. Beaten at 2:17 p.m. the day before. Woke up at 8:23 this morning. Unconscious 18 hours. He wonders, are the guards gone? 10 a.m. Bumpy receives a visitor. His lawyer Samuel Cohen. But this isn't a legal visit, it's a message. They speak privately. How are you feeling? Like I was jumped by 7 guards with nightsticks. Samuel nods, then leans in. About those 7 guards. They didn't report to work this morning. Not one of them. Their families filed missing person reports. NYPD's involved. No leads. Bumpy listens quietly. 7 men, all gone. Between 11 p.m. and now, they vanished. Perfect timing. Bumpy was beaten at 2:17 p.m. unconscious by 2:18. All 7 guards. Disappeared between 11 p.m. and midnight. Bumpy woke at 8:23 a.m. They were gone before he opened his eyes. Exactly. As it should be. The NYPD opens an investigation. 7 correctional officers from the same prison. All last seen leaving their shifts. Their vehicles scattered across the city. No signs of struggle. It looks like they left on their own. But why would 7 guards abandon their lives on the same night? Interviews reveal they were involved in an inmate assault. A severe beating. The victim? Bumpy Johnson, still unconscious at the time the guards vanished. The timing doesn't make sense. How could a man in a coma arrange this? There's no evidence. No bodies, no suspects. Just 7 missing men and 1 battered inmate. The case goes cold, open, unsolved. But the story spreads fast. Through the prison, through the system, 7 guards beat Bumpy Johnson unconscious. Before he woke up, they were gone. Vanished. The message is clear. Bumpy Johnson doesn't need to be awake to defend himself. His crew acts without orders. You heard him, they erase you. Before he even opens his eyes. After that, no guard at Sing Sing ever touched Bumpy again. No threats. No disrespect. Because 7 of their own disappeared. Not a rumor. Not a warning. A fact. 7 men. Gone November 12th, 2:17 p.m. Bumpy is beaten. November 13th, 8:23 a.m. He wakes up. 7 guards already vanished. That's not revenge. That's not retaliation. That's power. Even in a coma, Bumpy Johnson still ran Harlem.